Hey guys, welcome back to the Third Wing channel. Today we're going to be doing a video I've been looking forward to for a long time. It's a Nickelodeon kind of Schneider universe tier list for four different series. So Zoey 101, Drake and Josh, iCarly, and Victorious. I decided not to include the ones I'm not too familiar with. You know, the era that I kind of grew up with was kind of like the 2004-ish to that period of 10 years from 2004 up to 2014-ish. I saw the beginning of Sam and Cat. I saw maybe a couple seasons, or I don't know how many there were, but I decided to just not include that because the side characters there weren't anything worth really mentioning too much. But without further ado, last thing I want to mention is that I just love these shows. They've made me a lot of who I am, and I just want to give back. And I love making this kind of content. So let me know that you like this kind of content by leaving a subscribe or a like, and comment what you want to see next. Because I love talking about these shows. And without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got Andre. Um, we'll start him off with a strong A for Andre. I don't have much to say about him. He just every scene he's in, he's just so happy and uh, I don't know. I like how talented he is in the show, and he's a great singer. And his relationships, he's always just makes everything better. I don't know. Some funny jokes as well. Not much to say here. Um, Andre's grandma, I think she's exaggerated. I mean, at first the goof is pretty funny, but I don't think she needed to be a reoccurring character. She could have been just um, more just as one. She could have been one episode, but it was it becomes less and less believable the more they do it, and it's a bit over the top. And I get that it's a kids show, but over the top, just like Coco and Zoey 101. At first it was nice, but then it just goes way over the top. But although I do like Coco maybe a little bit more. Um, I don't think Coco's on here. That's why I mentioned her now. Next we got Kat. Kat. I think she's like a really solid C tier. She is a little bit on the same lines with Andre's grandma, where she's really great in the first season, and then she kind of just jumps off a cliff in terms of like her personality. And I think there's a lot of interesting analysis to do here, like why she acts like this when she's much older than a 8-year-old, but she acts like one. But I have to say it makes for a lot of funny moments, and I think Kat's really talented in the show as well, and she's that kind of quirky character, but they could have turned it down a bit. I think she deserves to be somewhere B or C. I'll make up my mind as we go along here. Next, we got one of my absolute faves. I did just rewatch Zoey 101. I've been trying to rewatch these for these episodes. Um, I think Chase, maybe it's because I'm fresh off the iron, but Chase feels like an S or an A. I'll put him at the top of A, but man, Chase, he's just, he was a real role model, I think. You know, I, I think a lot of people related to him, and I certainly did. The whole crush thing with Zoe, and yeah, for me, he's just a complete S tier. He's probably one of the most relatable characters in this universe. Um, Next, moving on to Craig. Craig, you know what? I'm gonna drag out Eric as well. This is not where I placed them. I'm just thinking. Um, I really like these guys. I love the episode with Drake and Josh's grandpa. USA, USA. I love that. And when they, you know, this is the kind of recurring character that I love in these shows. They're kind of unique. They have that nerd thing going on, and they did the nerd thing worked way better in Drake and Josh, I think, than it did in Zoey 101 or iCarly and it was really funny when these guys are on, and they really did add a lot to a scene. Can I place them above Cat? Probably not. So we're gonna. No, I think they're really well. I will say I like Eric a little bit more than Craig, so I'm gonna put Craig down here, and I'll put Eric up here. This is my tier list. I understand putting Eric above Cat is a bit insane, but that's just my vibe. Moving on, we have Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve. You know what? I know I've been talking about Over the Top and how it's not done too well with some of these characters, but Crazy Steve was funny. Like Crazy Steve, it wasn't pushed too much. I really enjoyed Crazy Steve, and I don't know, just watching him watch his Dora on the little TV that need to be cranked. Those kinds of moments are just fantastic. We'll put him in a B. Next, we got Dustin. I feel like the plot lines with Dustin were just they weren't as interesting as the other characters. And I guess she's there to kind of show how good Zoey is and blah blah blah, the nurture aspect. But I just don't think the jokes or the storylines with him were as interesting. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but especially in like season 4, it was just completely I don't know. I'm gonna put him at a D. I just don't think he was. I think in season 1 he was great. The whole bully, what episode? Like the bully episode, that was good. And there are moments where he shines, but like when he comes along to spring break with their friends, like that makes no sense to me. So I'm gonna leave him at a D. Um, Weird kid. Next we got Drake, and Drake is like a bit of the opposite of Chase, and there was reason to idolize that as well. Is he better than Andre? Yeah, Drake is the real idol as well, and he was cool at the time. That was so cool, and I have to say I am a big fan of real Drake Spell's music, and not about be embarrassing whatever, but I do like his music, and I'll put him at S, just behind Chase. Next we have Beck from Victorious. Beck is interesting, but he's just so chill. You don't have much. There isn't that much character depth here, but he's just a chill guy, kind of like Andre. These two like they're great. They'd be great friends, and I don't know. I think I put him just below Andre, just because he doesn't have that super interesting quality. I think his whole thing was being the hot guy, quote unquote. So and I do find the arguments of like Jade and him and the whole relationship, is it toxic, is it good? And one thing I like to always bring up is that you can understand Jade when this guy's inviting girls to give them rides and all this and blah blah blah, and then the stuff with Tori. So that's interesting, but yeah, there's not much here. There's both pretty chill, cool guys, but I think Andre is a bit more interesting. Next we got let's see. Mm, oh no, don't blank on me now. Nathan Kress's character of Freddy. Freddy, of course. How could I forget a character with such a similar name to mine? Um, Freddy. He's kind of like a modern Chase, a little bit more modern Chase, huh, in the whole universe. Do I like him better than Chase? Absolutely not. I think, man, I'm gonna leave it at an A because he is like he is one of the only characters in iCarly. Really, like there aren't that many main characters in iCarly, and he is a relatable character, and for some of the same reasons as Chase, but he doesn't have that same wisdom as Chase or anything like that. Um, yeah, I think the bottom of A is appropriate for Freddy, but we'll come back to that potentially. Rex, I'm gonna put him in the same kind of line with Dustin. He could be better, but these are another character which I just the more it goes on, it's just like, why are they there? I know that just he's there in a way also to make Robbie's character more depthful, and um, how do I say this? Like it shows Robbie's insecurities or whatever, and well, he's funny. I'll give him that, and yeah, he's okay. Maybe it's a bit wrong putting. Okay, I'm gonna put Craig down to a D. No, Rex can go in the top of D. Gavin. He was the guy who always had to clean up because Josh wouldn't. Getting the gum out of his hair or the toilets or recurring character. He's kind of funny. I'll put him just below Craig. Yeah. So, okay. I'm doing Dustin dirty. We'll put him at the bottom of the D. It just not enough to be higher, to be honest. Next we got Victoria. This is a character people love to hate on. And by the way, I should mention that I don't really want to get into the drama between actors because there's a lot of it, and I don't really want to get into real life stuff. I want to keep it mostly on the inside the character universe. And in terms of the characters, I think she deserves to be around Beck somewhere, like top of B. It's we've had so many leads. If you think about it, Drake and Josh, we had guy leads, but we have the leads for three shows: Zoey and iCarly, and Victorious. They're all named after these three girls, and which one's the best lead? Man, it's hard to say. But Victoria kind of feel like it smashed iCarly and Zoey kind of together in a way. She's not as kind of put on a pedestal as Zoey, and she does have that more laid back feel of Carly, but she's kind of in between. And I appreciate how quote unquote good as she is, but she does bad things as well. She does makes mistakes, and I don't. I think she's just like the middle of the road, kind of top of B. I'm tempted to put her higher, but she didn't make for that interesting of a lead, so I'm gonna put her top of B. Considering she's the main character. Next we got Gibby. Uh, what what a character, and I've been talking about over the top, but when over the top is done right, it's what makes the show funny, and I'm gonna put Gibby like, just him taking his shirt off and dancing a little bit. It's almost enough. I don't know. It was just it was funny at the time. iCarly's a show that I haven't gone back to rewatching. That's next on my list. I've rewatched the other three shows on this list right from just recently, but I haven't rewatched iCarly. That's next on the list, and there's a reboot, so I'm gonna do that soon. But Gibby, just my memories of Gibby and him saving them from the basement of what was her name, Dora or something. I don't know. Just funny dude. What can I say? I'll put him like about there. He feels a bit a bit like I'm trashing on Tori or Beck. Next we got Walter. Walter was funny watching him suffer from human allergies or competing with his more handsome competitor in the weather department, or Josh getting him embarrassed or whatever. He's a good character, and he was one of the only ones who really pushed the Drake and Josh revival as hard, like together with like Craig and Eric. So I appreciate him for that. Keep it character based, but he's great. I gotta put him like up here. Honestly, I really enjoyed him as a character. He's probably the best dad in the universe. Next we got Helen. I can appreciate Helen's sass, but she was just a bit mean, and she's okay. I'm gonna put her with Kat. Honestly, I never really connected or enjoyed Helen as much as others. Next we got Psychowitz. What a great teacher, right? Oh, I mean, there's two sides to it, right? You could say he's a great teacher, but you could also argue that he's a very bad one and irresponsible, blah blah blah. But no, I like to side with him being a good teacher. And where do we put him? Better than Helen. Probably better. Oh, he's in about the same range as Crazy Steve and these guys. I'm gonna put Psychowitz. He's a B character. Probably around here, honestly. Is Walter better? Yeah. Walter's funny. Lubert. He's okay. I'm gonna put him next to Craig. That's about as good as he is a joke in the essence of the show. So I can't put him higher, just like I can't really put Gavin higher. So about there. The character itself isn't that funny, but the jokes around him are quite funny. Next we got Jade, who was one of the first really like edgy characters. I mean, I'm surprised they did do something like this earlier. I mean, they kind of tried it with what's her name, Dana, but Jade was great. I honestly think that Jade spiced up the show a lot, and I think she deserves to be just above Freddy. I think she was great. What else can I say about Jade? I don't know. She was amazing. Honestly, I like the whole edge. Next we got James, who appears like at the end of the show for the last 10 10 episodes of Zoey 101, and does it make sense? Kind of. Did Was he necessary? No. Was he a likable character? Not really. I don't even know if the show tried to push him as a likable character, but yeah, he goes about there. Honestly, I want to put him in F. You know, just no. He didn't fit in the show for me. Next, we got Sinjin. Sinjin is another one of those over the top characters that actually kind of works. I want to put him. I was always happy to see him on the screen, so I'm gonna put him in this kind of area with Crazy Steve and Eric. Next, we got Mr. Josh Peck. Is he as good as Drake? I don't think so. I think. I mean, they're at their best when they're together, right? But for me, he can sit around here with Andre and Jade. He's just slightly less. At least at the time for me, he wasn't like the idol type. He was very funny, and I enjoyed him for that. But is he S tier? Did I like really just fully enjoy him? I almost want to say yes, but he less than Drake. Next, we got Lane. Lane is lame. What can I say? He was just not very interesting as like a counselor type, and not really an important character anyways. Next, now this one I think people are gonna be really split on. Logan. This was a really ballsy play, honestly, putting him in the show as this rich kid who can get away with anything. So very, what's it called? He loved the way he looked himself, and I really appreciate that they pushed the character like this because I thought it was very entertaining. His money was obviously used for so many plot points, and they could do all these crazy things because they had Logan's money, and Logan's money and Quinn's brains together, they can do anything. But Logan, I think that a lot of people want to put him down here somewhere, but I think Logan is great. I think Logan made the show so much more exciting, and the kind of dynamics with him and the girls and whatever. So I'm gonna put him together with Jade. I mean, them together, looking at them together, that would have been an interesting. What's it called? Not relationship, just like friend wise. Yeah, that I'm a Logan fan. Next we got Megan. Megan, Megan is, I think, easily an S tier character. I think that her antagonizing her brothers was some of the most entertaining television I've ever watched, and these two boys that are terrified of their sister is so fun to watch, and she's like a true mastermind in this universe, so very deserved S tier for her. And yes, Megan. Next we got Michael. Michael's quite underrated. I think he is even better than Logan. I always just, he's so bubbly and he's got so many different talents, and he's honest and he's a great friend. I think that's the best way to summarize him. He's a great friend. He never really did anything bad, and he's a great guy. So I want to put him in the middle of A tier by Jade and Josh. I think that's a great place for him. Next we got Mindy. I almost want to put her. Okay, we can put her just behind Josh. I think that's appropriate. I think Mindy was like, what a great character, like creating this competitor for Josh, and as a female character I think she was so strong, like creating that. How did they really pushed a very good line with Drake and Josh, making I don't want to put this the wrong way because it's going to be taken out of context, but I think that the whole pushing female equality and all this was really great. I mean, I'm going off on a weird tangent here, but I think Mindy's a great character. That's what I'm trying to say, and I think that a lot of people could look up to her, and I sure did. I thought she was really cool and unique, and I really enjoyed her on the show. I'm tempted to put her higher, but putting her higher than Josh doesn't quite feel right. And now that I've talked more and more about this, I'm going to put Andre behind here. Yeah, I know that's quite a relegation, but now they realize that Andre's just less interesting than these to me. Freddy's mom. she was important for Freddy's character, but you gotta admit that she was just kind of annoying at times. I get that she's necessary, and that kind of whole thing works, and that's why Carly works at some points. But you know, my feelings towards her with Helen, as a character, are probably quite a strong one, but I'm gonna put her in the C tier. Next, we got Miss Hafer, which is a great reoccurring character, kind of a despiser of Drake, and when Drake dates her daughter and all that, that was very entertaining as well. I really liked Miss Hafer, but since she is just a reoccurring character, um, okay, we can put her at the bottom of C. I think that's appropriate. Next, we got Drake's mom, which I found infinitely less interesting than Walter. I almost want to put her in an F. I think she was she didn't add almost anything to the show, and she almost never made the, she always sided with Megan completely blindly, which I mean it was a joke, but I don't know. I just didn't enjoy her very much. I think that she was one of the things I like least about Drake and Josh. So she goes in the F. Next, we got Neville, which is a great antagonist for iCarly. I think this kind of fairly smart guy who has a crush, but at the same time is just antagonizing these girls is a very is a very fun character, and I'm gonna put him. I think about Sinjin. No, never mind. Um, what I will do is put Crazy Steve probably behind these guys. Neville, and probably Psychoids as well. Neville, yeah, about there. Weird putting him next to Gibby, but yeah, that's about where I'd put him. Next, and I really gotta steer away from the real life drama, but there's a lot of drama around, um, what's her name, Nicole's character, in the real world. What can I say about Nicole? I thought she was a great. I thought it's really a shame what happened, in terms of the real life stuff, but I think she's a great character, and I am sad that they had to forcefully remove her from the show with a really lame write off. But taking those 2 seasons into account and her as a character, I thought she was really good. She made it for a really good roommate and best friend for Zoey. And I thought she fit, but obviously the on-screen chemistry just wasn't quite there. I thought she could have definitely stayed the distance if things didn't go south. I'll put her just above Beck. Yeah, I have sympathy for Nicole. I think she played a great role. Stay out of the real life stuff. She's great. Is a good character in that show. Kat's grandma. She goes in this kind of eh. Honestly, I almost want to put her in F. Just annoying. Kind of like Andre's grandma. Yeah, we'll put the grandmas down there. Screw it. Next we got Carly, who overall probably is the best lead of these characters. I mean, I'll say female lead. 'Cause I think Drake and Josh are better leads, but um, the main character of iCarly, she was really strong, and she was a really. I mean, I'm not a girl, so I don't know, but I feel like this is someone you could look up to, and yeah, I really enjoyed just Carly as the lead of iCarly, and I think she deserves to be somewhere about here. Her kind of just good personality really carried that show. Next, we got Lola. Lola, when I was rewatching the first episode where she was acting as a different person who's completely crazy, I was like, oh no, they're not going to introduce another over the top character. But no, she was acting because she's an actress in the Zoey 101 world, and that made for a good introduction. And she turned out to be such a great character, and honestly a great replacement for Nicole. I want to put her about here. I thought she was a really entertaining character, and her um, I don't know, demeanor, her whole mood for the show is good, and I think that her acting was actually probably better than in Victorious, and in terms of the real acting, she was very believable. I liked Lola. Next we got Quinn, and I'm really divided on Quinn. I don't know if I like Quinn or not, but I feel like there's almost some kind of like there's a weird line that gets crossed after season 2 or 3. Like she starts like gawking at guys just like Lola or the other girls on the show, and that seemed weird. But I do love her relationship with Mr. Del Figaro. That's great. Quinn's pretty good, but I'll put her. I think she could be right in between Gibby and Neville. But I do enjoy. Too often, I feel like she was like the solution to their problems, which I didn't quite enjoy. So that's why she gets kind of a lower rating. But man, I just realized this tier list is quite top heavy, isn't it? Well, either way, let's move on. Next, we got Sam, and I'm gonna be the biggest downer here, but I never really connected or enjoyed Sam too much. She just felt like a bit of a bad person to me, and I'm gonna put her at the bottom of C, I think. I just didn't really ever enjoy her character, and it was this over the top, slightly, but you know, I guess realistic enough character, but it was just so moody. I don't know. And when they added heart to it, it just felt weird. So I'm gonna put her at the bottom of C, and that's why I think Seven Cat also wasn't the best show because they took two of the less interesting people in this universe and they put them in a show which just didn't quite work for me. Next we got Dana, who for the same reasons that Nicole got written off in a really dumb way again. But the difference is that Dana was never such a great character to begin with, and she can easily probably go just behind Dustin. And I think it's a great thing they wrote her off, but it makes the series kind of. It's really weird watching Zoey 101 because people just keep disappearing and it's weird. But I think in the end it ended like season 3, great, and season 2 like that cast was really solid, so it made up for it. Spencer, where do we put Spencer? I think Spencer is really great, but much better than Crazy Steve. I think Logan's actually better than Andre as a character. And that brings me to Spencer, who is probably on par with. He's just better than Lola. I think actually Logan's probably better than Lola as well. Just on par with Jade and Logan. I think he is a really cool character. I love how he's like the older brother that takes over. I think that's a good narrative, and the whole art thing makes iCarly. He kind of makes iCarly's vibe for me. That kind of slightly weird but normal family, and I like that. I think he's great. I'm really excited to see what they'll do with him in the reboot. Next, we got Tebow, who is a really funny side character, although his kind of one trick kind of deal gets tiring. With time, we'll put him with Miss Hafer and just behind Cat. He's pretty good, but I can't put him higher than this. Robbie is like the ultimate downgraded Chase for me. Uh, not to say he's bad because Chase is, as you can see, in my S tier. So not Chase. They have the same afro, okay? Robbie will go right in front of Quinn. Slightly more enjoyable than Quinn for me. Because I do like the episodes he leads are actually quite good. Like the, what was it called? The Shaparazzi, that was really good. And he's an enjoyable character, don't get me wrong. So I think B, like top of B tier is appropriate. Enjoyable. Next we got, what was her name? Trina? Gosh, she goes in the same kind. Oh no, I gotta put her lower. she can go right ahead of Rex. Like, I understand her role in the show, but her annoyingness seeped through, and I found her annoying, and for that reason, she she goes in the, not so good tier. And that's all I really have to say. And how weird that they left Zoey last. Before I mention Zoey, I'll mention some characters that they might have missed, like Coco from Zoey 101, or Stacy Dielson, or Mark Del Figolo. All of those characters probably would have gone in C or D. Or Mark might have gone in bottom of B. Just to mention that, who else have they missed? Otherwise, they've covered most of the field. You guys will probably come up with a bunch of characters they missed in the comments for me. But Zoey, this is, I think, the most controversial lead of all, and I think there's a lot of people who loved her, and then there's a lot of people who hated her. For me, she's just the most mediocre lead because she is seen as this kind of flawless, overly good person. She fixes everything. All's good always ends well, and she's blinded by, Chase's love, which is weird, and in the end, I do like her. I like her as a character. I just think, I don't know. It's a divide. I'm still kind of making up my mind about her right now, and I guess that's good character writing if you don't really know. But where do I put her? Is she a better lead than Victoria? Just because of her friendships with her friends, I'm gonna put her just above Victoria, and that also reminds me to bump Freddy down to a B character, just behind Victoria. Man, what? I want to have some kind of closing words on Zoey. She's really odd. That's one of the characters I really want to hear in the comments. And try not to mention anything real life. Just try to focus on the character. What do you think of Zoey? Um, the show's named after her. I don't know why, but okay. That's what I'm curious about. But this is my tier list. I realize I've been quite exclusive with the S tiers, and I think that's with good reason. I love these shows, and if you guys have any ideas for videos that you'd like to see, please let me know, because I do love making these, and I just really enjoy these shows. And man, I'm gonna go rewatch iCarly now. So subscribe if you like this kind of content, because that lets me know you like this. I can go back and see, oh, people like this video, they subscribed from it, and then I can keep making more, because then people actually want, come back and watch this content. So that's all. This is going to be a long video, and you've heard me ramble for long enough, so I'll see you guys soon, and thank you for watching.